Hey everyone, good evening. It is Monday night, so it's time for Monday Night Spark. So today is definitely a different Monday Night Spark that I had planned for you. This is a little change in content. I can't believe how much has occurred since we met last week. Right at this time, we were actually talking about what prehab is, and we were doing our normal kind of educational type post. But with everything that's gone on in the world this week, I would be remiss to not address the elephant in the room, and really wanted to jump on here tonight to really kind of reflect a little bit on what's gone on this past week, as well as find out and figure out from you and really get some feedback from you on how I can help you all during these uncertain times. So, obviously we have this national emergency going on right now, and this is something like we've never lived through before. So everyone is adjusting their lives. Our schedules look much, much different. My day today was about 5 hours on Zoom meetings because those of you that don't know, I do teach at a university. So we had kind of all of our meetings to really change our curriculum for our students starting next week. So they're going to be coming back to kind of a new curriculum, and we had all of our meetings today, and there's going to be a lot of work behind the scenes. Luckily that I've been getting pretty familiar on getting on video with you guys, so I will be able to do that now for my students and deliver that content. But it's been a crazy whirlwind every day, like I'm sure all of you. Things are changing rapidly, and our life and our schedules and everything is rapidly changing. So I guess, first thing is, first and foremost, everyone be safe out there. Follow all the guidelines that you're hearing about in terms of social distancing, proper hand washing, and not touching your face, right? And trying to really wash everything, disinfect surfaces, because we really don't know a lot of this virus and exactly how it's going to impact all of us. So I really just encourage everyone to, practice safe practices. And I think more of that information is getting out there now, and people are abiding by those rules. So I guess I really want to open this up for you guys to ask any questions you have. I am not the coronavirus expert by any means, but I do want to acknowledge you guys thank you for jumping on here. Amber's on. George, good to see you, bud. Amanda, good to see you as well. Lisa, Sundar, Katrina, thank you for jumping on here, guys. I appreciate it. Melanie, thank you so much for jumping on. But how can we kind of deal and cope with all of this? And our specialty here is running. So how are we going to manage our running routines and get some normalcy in our schedules? I know for me, last week, with everything that was rapidly changing every day, my kind of home base was at that time working out and then going for my runs. So I think we can't understate, obviously there's a lot more important things going on right now, but somehow, how are we going to maintain our sanity, right? How are we going to get that mental release that we get through exercise, through running? How can we do that in a new way than you were probably doing it last week or the week before? So those are the things I really want to kind of talk about, either on tonight's live or honestly on how I can help you moving forward, because I had some planned content for these next couple of weeks, but I want to be able to pivot and serve you guys and see what exactly you are looking for at this time of need. And I'd be happy to put out as much free content as possible that we can really help our running community, because I think we do need to keep running, and for mental health and obviously for a physical standpoint as well. So Crystal, thank you so much for jumping on. Cameron, so good to see you. Thank you for jumping on. And then just, honestly, just reflecting on, all of us found out this within 1 week, pretty much, those of you that were running the New York half, found out that was rescheduled. Obviously, you guys running Boston, like Cameron, found out that that's postponed. And then all of us in our little SPARC training group found out about Cheshire today. But the good thing is that, these are just races and they will be rescheduled. So there's, another day we will be able to run those events that we love so much. So that's the important thing. But how are we going to kind of manage at this time right now and be able to get those runs in that we need to get in? So please, guys, ask me, those of you who are here on the live. Jolene, so good to see you. Thank you so much for jumping on. I hope you're doing well and staying safe. And what questions do you guys have for me, or what questions do you have now that your routines are going to be different, that you're not going to be going to the gym, or maybe if you're running on the treadmill, you don't have access to that now, or are you having any questions regarding your training and how you can do that at home if you haven't been doing any exercise at home? So this is going to be new for you. So let me know in the comment box below, but I will get to two questions that were asked before. So Susan asked earlier when I put out the post for tonight, if we are federally quarantined, can we still run outside? So right now we're not quarantined, right? So we're doing social distancing. Not yet do we have like a quarantine around each of our towns. Right now, as of this moment, I feel like I need to like preface that with as of March 16th, at the time of this recording, we are not. So right now it is safe to go outside as long as you're maintaining those social distances. So maintaining that 6-foot kind of perimeter around you, and going outside is actually a good thing. So getting that exercise in will actually help your immune system right now. So, God forbid, we do come down with this virus, then the stronger our immune systems are, then hopefully we will either not have as much side effects or be able to fight the virus, because the exercise we've been doing and the training we've been doing these past couple of weeks, months, years, will help our bodies be able to fight off the virus. So it is actually encouraged for you to be getting exercise in. So I hope that answers your question, Susan, that it is safe to go outside as long as you're not high-fiving people. And I dropped an article that Melanie actually within our group shared the other day, and I thought that was helpful, talking about guidelines running outside, just keeping your distance, as well as making sure you're not touching surfaces. If you're crossing a lot of streets and you're clicking the traffic signals, then make sure you're not kind of touching those with your hands, maybe using gloves, using your shirt to hit those, because you don't know who hit them before you. So just think about that, because we are starting to hear more of these studies that are coming out that the virus can live up to 24 hours, was the latest thing I heard today. Obviously, this is evolving on hard surfaces. So keep that in mind. You don't know who touched whatever you're touching or whatever pole that you're going to hold and stretch during your run. Today, it was actually nice. So I'm trying to think about like the positives in this, right? And trying to keep like the glass half full, and try to think about what opportunities we have. And there were a couple things that I know people had posted actually within the group, was that people seem to be a little bit nicer now, right? So getting out there, today was actually a very nice day, and it was nice after all my meetings. We actually, as a family, went out to the trail in Cheshire, and we haven't done that together, I would say, in probably, 4 or 5 years. So the girls had their bikes. My wife and I went for a nice little run, but everyone on the trail was very friendly. We're all like saying hi, waving to each other, keeping our distances. So I think that's kind of one positive thing out of there. And, that's what I saw today on the trail, is everyone was maintaining their safety and being able to run, get some exercise in, and the vitamin D was good with the sun shining on you. So I would encourage you guys to get outside as much as possible. For those of you who haven't gotten outside, let's say you really don't like running in the winter, and you're more of a treadmill runner, or with work-wise, if you couldn't go out because it was dark, then I would highly encourage you to go out during the day, especially if your work schedule has changed and varied now, because I think we all need that exercise. As I mentioned before, the benefits of exercise are just, too great. So Crystal says that she doesn't want to train and continue, but what are your thoughts about the plan? So, Crystal, you're talking about the half marathon training plan. So, I would definitely recommend that you continue with the plan. So, eventually, we will eventually be able to run a half distance. And I know those of you who are in the SPARC training plan, my plan is to actually run that event that weekend, keeping our safe distances and maybe even running the course. Obviously, will depending upon that day. If there's a lot of people running it, then we might need to be careful because I have a feeling some people might have the same idea. But we can still train and build up. It's all in the training, right? So, and this is with any race, right? So we're going to have some races that we're disappointed, and we've all been there before, but it's really the training that it's all about. It's getting yourself healthier, putting your body through all those miles. The race is just the performance, right? So yes, it is nice to get the medal, right? And it's nice to feel that sense of gratitude. But I think for those of us in the training plan, Crystal, I think, our goal still stays the same. And then, we do a virtual race, so to speak, and we've kind of hit our mark. So, or at least our bodies are in shape and be able to run a half marathon. And then when it gets rescheduled and we eventually do it, we will be able to, toe the line when it's safe and be able to run that race. So Lori, thank you so much for jumping on here. Hey, Clay, Coach Clay is on here. Thank you so much, Clay, for jumping on. Fortunately, no pool today, right? Jen, so good to see you. Thank you for jumping on. Keith's on. Yeah, so Lori, family bonding time, I agree. We actually just did. Another thing we haven't done in a really long time, but is watch the family movie. So again, guys, just thinking about the glass half full and trying to think about these opportunities. I know our schedules are super, super busy, my wife and I. We pretty much are like two full-time working 2-job parents, and our girls are very busy with their activities, so it's actually nice to get some little downtime to spend some time together. So I would encourage you guys to kind of look at it like that. Don't panic, right? So that was kind of my post earlier, is to let's not panic. Let's try to think about the positives of that this will bring, and think about from a runner perspective, maybe if we have time to actually dedicate to training now, and maybe even making our body stronger. So then when you are able to run those races, eventually you'll actually be more fit and you'll be more trained and ready to run, and maybe keep yourselves from having any injuries, right? So that's our whole goal here. And thank you so much for jumping on, Sundar. Good to see you. So Sundar says, if the target race is canceled or postponed, should we continue our training or hold off and pick it up later? Yeah, so Sundar, so good question. We kind of address that, I believe, with Crystal's question. My recommendation would be to, if it's not a stretch run, so for you, Sundar, I know you've run multiple marathons before. For you, it's not going to be a stretch, right? You're kind of stretched out as it is to run a half, or even, if you're running the full, if that was your goal target race for the spring, I'm not sure if it was, or if you were waiting again until Hartford, but if that's your target goal, I probably wouldn't, go ahead and do your 20, get up to the 20 range, but you could stay somewhat stretched out and have a good base training. I might not go as hard with the speed work and those super long runs, but if you were planning on running a half, Sundar, I don't see why, it wouldn't be, out of this realm to kind of continue your training that you've been doing, unless it was a really advanced training program for you where you're doing some killer, speed work sessions that you haven't done in the past. I know you're a big fan of the walk-run method. So unless you were really taking your body to levels of training that it has never been to before, I think it's, completely safe for you to continue the training program that you're doing. Just, keep in mind, if it is something that is beyond that base level of training and just getting the miles, those weekly miles under your legs, if you're doing 30, or high 20s or anywhere in the 30s per week, just think about, certain weeks, taking some recovery weeks and kind of bouncing back, because that will be important, right? So eventually, when we all are able to race again, we just want to make sure we don't stay at this high level of training and just continue at that high level of training throughout, because that is definitely going to set yourself up for injuries. And that really goes to our fifth tip of healthy running, right? So we talked about training smart with proper progression. And that's kind of what I was alluding to in that live that we had done probably about 5 or 6 weeks ago now, but it will be dropped on the Healthy Runner podcast next week. So that episode will actually drop next week about training. So hopefully that answers your question. Tanya, thank you so much for jumping on here. And how are you? Morgan, thank you so much for joining. We missed you. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. James, thanks for so much for jumping on here. So yeah, Clay says no pool. So his Monday night is his for a bit. So yeah, thinking about the glass half full, right, Clay? We have to, at times like this, things are stressful, our schedules are getting changed, work hours are getting changed. I know it's a very high anxiety time for us all. So again, more the reason to get out there and run and get some exercise. I know Miss Irene Bosco talked about us about 3 weeks ago on our Monday Night Spark about serotonin release with exercise, with running. So just think about that from a chemical standpoint, neurotransmitter standpoint for our brains to kind of keep some of that mental sanity here. Eat immune boosting foods, Anne says. Yes, Anne. So thank you. Definitely try to build up our immune system. So from an exercise perspective, then also from a nutrition standpoint, right? So making sure we're getting all of our vitamins, and I'm not talking about just supplementation. I'm talking about just eating real foods, right? So kind of going back to the basics, having some water and doing your leafy green vegetables, right? And doing your vegetables and fruits and things that are kind of very colorful and have a lot of nutrients in it and vitamins. So adding in that, making sure you are getting proper nutrition will be important, that we're not just like as we're in our houses all day just eating junk food. James, how are you? Yeah, so Coach Clay chimes in about Sundar. Sundar, keep running, keep it up. Anne says she's going to use her time to food prep and lose a few pounds, better for my running knees. There you go, Anne. So thinking about that glass half full, get that food prep in. And I know I was hearing a lot of people just, coping wise, just cooking, right? So people enjoy cooking. Maybe you don't have time to cook, right? So now you have a little extra time. You can use that to cook some nice, healthy, nutritious meals. Chris, what's up, man? Thanks for jumping on here. Linda, thank you so much for jumping on. Good to see you. Great run you had on Sunday. And Tara, so good to see you as well. Thanks for jumping on here. So we had another question earlier that I do want to address. So Sherry says, since the gym is closed and I can't take spin or other classes, can I run more? Is that asking for trouble? So Sherry, this answer is going to be very similar to Sundar's answer. Sorry, guys, got to get some water in. It depends upon your level of training. So for example, I know for a fact that you did run over double digits last week. So what you want to think about is just not going extreme. So don't substitute every spinning class that you were doing with a run, because you have to remember that those activities are different, right? So running is weight-bearing activity. You're loading the body, you're loading the joints, your muscles are functioning differently than they did in spinning. And that's why spinning was so great for you, because it was actually a great cross-training activity to kind of switch it up, allow your joints a little bit of rest from the pounding. So just keep that in mind, that you can run a little bit more, but again, you don't want to do more than that like 10% rule increase per week in terms of volume. So total volume or total workload, you don't want to think more than 10%. So depending upon how many miles you ran last week, think about just increasing that about 10% this week. So don't substitute your full spinning class time that you would have been at the gym. Substitute that with training in order to run. Right? So that kind of really brings me, guys, and I do want some feedback from you guys, is what do you want to see? Like how can I help you guys these next couple of weeks as we're trying to manage and get through this high stressful time? And if you're not sure right now, or you don't have any comments right now, those of you who are watching the replay, just type in #team_replay and then ask, or request like a question you have. Like I said before, our schedules are going to be different. You're not going to your classes. You're not going to the gym if you're a gym goer. So are you looking for like things you could do at home? I don't know. Like I don't want to just like guess and assume and put out content that you're really not interested in, because I want to try to honestly use this time, like we're going through a crisis here. So I want to use my time wisely and your time and be able to produce something that could actually like benefit you. So let me know what you want to learn, what you want to do. Is it specific like workout programs you can do at home? Is it more programming? Like, would you like to see like a workout, like a weekly workout where I'd put like list the exercises and say like how many reps and sets you should do in like an Excel spreadsheet form? Or do you want me to just kind of put together like, this is strength training exercises you can do in your home, and I can give you 5 exercises that you can do, or this is stretching exercises you can do at home? Or do you want like more of a comprehensive program? I don't know what you guys want. So I guess, obviously, I've put out a lot of content before, usually tailored around a specific injury. So if it was Achilles pain, we've done that. Hamstring pain, IT band syndrome, we've done that. And I've given you the exercises. And then last week we talked about prehab, and I shared a couple of prehab exercises for you. But what do you want at this time of need? Let me know in the comment box. And if you can't really think about it right now, then definitely think about it and be like, okay, I'm not doing this now. What do I need help with? And if I'm not the expert to help you out, I will find someone who is. And we can kind of collaborate and honestly put some content together for you, because I want you guys to, think about this time to, number one, keep running, because it is safe for us to run outside. And then number 2 is when everything goes back to normal, because it will eventually, right? We just don't know when that is, but that's the little uncertainty we have, right? Which can create some anxiety for us. But obviously I'm a little anxious too, and I'm a very structured person. So I'm a planner. So this has definitely been a little stressful for me as well. And just like it is for all of you, I'm just being honest with you guys. And thinking about this time period of, again, maximizing, and how I got some family time in today that I usually don't get in during the week at all. How can we maybe get healthier and stronger as runners, or, be able to dedicate time to making our running better from a performance aspect, from a prevention, prehab standpoint, right? So maybe every year you get injuries and you get knee pain, or you get Achilles pain, you get foot pain, plantar fasciitis, right? Make this the year that you don't. I was talking with one of our SPARC training members yesterday, Katrina, and she was like just so happy because, her goal, she's never run a race where she wasn't in pain. So that was her goal this year, and she's been doing great with the training and hasn't had pain. So like that is like gold for me to hear. Like I love hearing that. Like I want to help you guys, our healthy runner community, be able to run without feeling pain and thinking it's normal to just be in pain. So that's my goal. So if that's your goal and that's what you want to accomplish, like let me know what you would like. So Melanie says she's just getting back to running after back surgery 10 months ago, doing okay on the treadmill, but tried outside last week. Didn't go too good. Can get past 60-second run without pain in less dominant leg. So nerve loss, lower back halfway down the leg. So Melanie's referring to like when you have a pinched nerve in your back, either due to a disc herniation, or sometimes you can have degenerative changes like an osteophyte around that nerve root, and that pinches the nerve. And then you can get some weakness on the muscles that are supplied by that nerve lower down the leg. So is there something you can do to strengthen the leg muscles to actually engage them? Yes. So Melanie, to answer your question, there is definitely lots of things you could do. In your situation, because I've seen many patients like yourself in that situation, is you want to find the weakness. So you want to find out what muscles are weak if you don't know. If you know the muscles that are weak, then absolutely, there's definitely exercises. So first thing, Melanie, I would refer you to the SPARC Your Training YouTube channel. And if there is a particular muscle that you know is weak, drop it in the comment box. I'll shoot you a video or two on my channel. But if you go to my YouTube channel, you will actually see playlist. Go to playlist. You will see a playlist for hip exercises. You'll see a playlist for knee exercises. You'll see a playlist for ankle exercises. So if it is calf weakness because you had the S1 nerve root that was being impinged by the L5 S1 disc, then, or L4, L5 disc, I should say, that was impinging your S1 nerve root, and you had weakness in your calf muscles, you'll find that. If you have weakness in the glutes, you'll find it in the hip exercises. So hopefully that can be helpful for you. So Melanie also says that she wants to point to exercise for Achilles, and that is where the majority of her compensations is occurring. Okay, yes, so good. Melanie, I'll definitely drop you. Achilles is easy, right? Calf raises. Sorry, guys. Voice is a little dry today. And so I think it might be a little bit of the allergies as I was running outside. So I'm getting a little scratchy. And so Achilles, yes, Melanie, I can definitely help you with that. So Jennifer says, hey, Jennifer, how are you? She's been cycling at the gym instead of running one day of my half training to get into cardio. Didn't know what to do to get that extra day of cardio in without pounding the pavement. She'd been cycling in the gym instead of running one day of her half training. Okay. So yeah, so you were doing actually good to do some cross training. Unfortunately, right now, you're not going to be able to unless you have a road bike, and you could perhaps take that to a paved pathway like the canal line in Cheshire, or I know there's a bunch, there's one in Wallingford. So if you have an outdoor bike, then that can certainly be an option. But if not, I would just use that 10% rule, Jennifer, and just get in a little bit more of that cardio, or just maybe do some circuiting, right? So do some kind of circuiting of exercises, strength exercises, which will get your heart rate up, increase your metabolism, and be able to still get some cardio in while you are strength training. So I'm a big fan of the superset. That's what I do usually in my workout. So usually I will superset an upper body exercise with a lower body exercise. So give that a try, Jen. Let me know if that helps out. Amy, so good to see you. Thanks for joining. Brian, what's up? Thanks for jumping on here. I appreciate that. And Emily, thank you so much for joining in. So guys, I do actually, this was actually a little bit longer than I planned on speaking tonight because I didn't know what we were going to really talk about. I felt like I needed to address the elephant in the room. But I do actually have a training I need to jump on at 8:30. So more Zoom trainings. So thank you so much for those of you that jumped on here on the live. Hit the like, hit the love button. If anything I said resonated with you, it will just help maybe more people in this group find this video. And think about it. Let me know in the comment box on what you would like to learn and take advantage, maybe with the extra time you have these next couple weeks. Thank you, guys. Thanks for all those little hearts and little thumbs up. I appreciate that. That's awesome. It's kind of cool when you see that come through. So I appreciate you guys. I think we're going to get through this together, right, guys? This is difficult times for everyone involved, but we're going to do it together, and we will be stronger in the long run. Pun intended there, right? For doing it together. So thank you so much for those of you that jumped on live. I do got to jump on this other call right now, and hopefully I'll see you soon and be a little bit more energetic. I know it's kind of like a little down atmosphere. I promise, like, my goal this point moving forward, now that we've talked about it, now that we addressed it, and hopefully you let me know what you want to learn, I'm going to try to give you guys a little reprieve from all the news, because I think we're getting like overloaded and it can affect us. So I'm going to try to be as motivating as possible in our next video that I do see you, and try to just like take your minds away from everything else you're hearing about in the world right now. And maybe this could be like our little outlet, our running outlet, and just kind of talk all things running, all things training, how we're going to be healthy as a runner. All right, guys. So stay active. Stay healthy, especially during this time right now. Follow all the guidelines, and just keep running. We have to, honestly, now more than ever. All right. Thank you guys so much for jumping on here. Hope everyone has a good night and a safe week. I'll talk to you next Monday night, 8 p.m. We're going live, hopefully for a topic that you wanted to hear about. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.